Happy Friday, Year 5. I'm here with your maths lesson for today. Again, we are looking at division, but slightly different contexts and questions. So what I would like you to do is grab a pencil, maybe a rubber too, and a piece of paper, and you can go and pause this video and unpause it once you're ready for the maths lesson. Okay, let's get started. For the garage session that was set from Monday the 25th until Wednesday the 27th, I have focused on accuracy because not only is it important for your speed to be quick, you need to be getting those questions correct. And so these children, I'm going to give you each a dojo point for aspiration. So in 5E, Sophia, Ben and Jackson, well done guys. In 5T, Caden, Elliot and Isaac. 5W, Freddie, Louis and Bryn, and in 5P, Amelia, Erin and Mia. So well done again to all of those children. Your accuracy on your answers has been fantastic. I'm awarding you all a dojo point. I would like you to have a go at this starter task. So it says in the middle, is 13 times by 9 the same as? So the first thing you need to do there would be to work out what is 13 times 9. Would you do 10 times 9 plus 3 times 9? And then you need to work out the answers to each of these 4 calculations surrounding it. So if it's the same answer, then yes, it would be the same. If it's not the same answer, then no, it wouldn't. Pause the video now and have a go at this starter task to get your brains warmed up. Okay, our learning objective for today is to divide 4 digits by a 1-digit number. Now, the only difference we have is that we are looking at remainders today. And a remainder is going to happen when we cannot equally find the correct amount of groups in the ones. So we're going to be looking at a bus stop method today. I don't want you to worry if you don't understand it today or you're feeling a bit wobbly, because I have split this lesson over into today's lesson and Monday's lesson. So we're going to recap this on Monday, so please don't panic. I've got a question for you. It says, Eva has 13 straws. Here are the straws. She wants to make them into triangles. How many triangles can she make? Well, you know that each triangle is going to need to have 3 straws. Could you pause the video and have a go and tell me how many triangles she can make? Are there going to be any remainders? Pause the video and work that one out. Well done if you got this answer. She could have made 4 triangles, but she would have had 1 left over. And it was exactly the same question as doing 13 divided by 3 equals 4 remainder 1. So exactly the same division, but a bit more pictorial so that we could actually see what was happening. Let's have a look at our bus stop method for today. I'm going to start with a my turn. So what I need to do, first of all, is my jottings, which I've already done down the side. If you're struggling, that's really going to help you. So whatever number you're dividing by, write the times tables down the side. My first question, how many 4s go into 8? You know that. 2. Because 2 times 4 is 8. How many 4s go into 2? Now, this number here is smaller than what we're dividing by, so we can't do it. However, we don't just move on. We pop our placeholder there. And this 2, we then move over to here. That now becomes 28. How many 4s go into 28? Well, look at my jottings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 4 is 28. Now, my final question is, how many 4s go into 9? Now, we know we're going to have a remainder because 4 doesn't go equally into 9, but that's not a problem at all. So what's the closest that we could get to 9 without going past 9? Well, it's going to be 8, isn't it? So that would be 2 times 4, so 2. 4 times 2 is 8, but we needed to get to 9, so what would our remainder be? Remainder 1. Well done. We are going to have a go at 2 hour turns where we can do it together. And then you're going to have a go at your chilies. The reason we're doing it this way for today's lesson is because, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to have a look at dividing 4 digits by 1 digit with remainders again on Monday. So if you don't understand, don't panic. we're going to look again on Monday. If you do understand, fantastic, well done. You'll be looking at it in a few different ways. So let's have a go. The question is 5,291 divided by 4. So start. How many 4s go into 5? Now I've got my jottings of my 4s here to make it easier. How many 4s go into 5? Well, I know 1, but it has a remainder of 1. So that goes over to here, and that becomes 12. How many 4s go into 12? Have a look at my jottings. 1, 2, 3. How many 4s go into 9? What's the closest I could get to 9? Look at my jottings. 1, 2. Okay, the closest is 8, so that's 2, because 2 times 4 is 8. And what would the remainder be? I got to 8, but I want to get to 9. So it would be 11. Okay. How many 4s can I get into 11? So have a look. Again, what's my closest? Well, I can't go past 11. I can't have it as 12. So it's got to be 8. So it's going to be 2 again. I got to 8. I wanted to get to 11. So let's count on. What's the remainder? 8, 9, 10, 11. So it would be remainder 3. The answer to this question would be 1,322, remainder 3. I've got this question. I would like you to pause the video and have a go on your notebooks first. I've even put the jottings for you down here for the 3s. So pause the video, have a go yourself, don't worry if you get it wrong, and then unpause me and we'll go through it together. Okay, we are asking ourselves, how many 3s go into 4? What's the closest? Look at our jottings that we can get without going past 4. So it would be 1, because 1 times 3 is 3. But what was our remainder? We got to 3, but we needed to get to 4. So it would be 16, because 1 was a remainder. So how many 3s go into 16? What's the closest we could get to 16? Have a look at your jottings. I can see that 15 would be the closest. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because 5 times 3 is 15. However, we wanted to get to 16, didn't we? And we got to 15. So what would the remainder be? Well done. 1. So now we're looking for how many 3s go into 19. Look at your jottings again. Which one is the closest that we can get to without going past 19? 18. And we know that 6 times 3 is 18, so it would be 6. Again, 6 times 3 is 18, but we wanted to get to 19, didn't we? So what's the remainder? We got to 18, but we needed to get to 19. So the remainder that we would carry would be 17. Okay, look at your jottings again. What's the closest we could get to 17 without going past it? It would be 15, wouldn't it? 3 times 5 is 15, so it would be 5. Now, this is the point where we're going to have a remainder because we've got to the 1s. We've got no other numbers to carry. So let's have a look. 3 times 5 is 15, but we wanted to get to 17. So what's the remainder? We got to 15, but we wanted 17. So 15, 16, 17. It would be remainder 2. Well done if you got that right. Don't panic if you didn't. Here are your chilies. Chili 1, this is your task. It's actually a very similar task to yesterday, but this time we're looking and we're focusing on how many remainders we have left. Again, if you don't find it that easy to use the place value counters and you prefer to move on to the bus stop method that we've been looking at, feel free to do that. But basically what you need to do is work out how many groups of 300 or 3 tens, 3 ones, and how many ones would be left over. You know that there's going to be some ones left over because this lesson is focusing on remainders. Again, please don't worry if you're feeling a bit confused. We are going to come and look at different questions on Monday again. Chili 1, this is your first question. So if you could pause the video. Chili 1, this is your second question. This time, you're using place value counters to work out 8,407 divided by 4. So again, just like yesterday, you would have to make sure you have the correct amount of place counters in each of these, so thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones. And then you can work out how many groups of 4 in each, Or you could just go ahead and use the bus stop method. So you'd say, how many groups of 4 go into 8? How many groups of 4 go into 4? How many groups of 4 go into 0? So you know what you put there. And how many groups of 4 go into 7? What's the remainder? Pause the video now, Chili 1. This is your final question. Chili 2, you have 4 questions that I'd like you to get on with using the bus stop method. Again, remember that you will have remainders because that's the focus of our lesson today. Again, if you're stuck on a particular question, please don't panic. First of all, I'm going to show you the answers later, but also we're going to come back and have a look at different questions on Monday. So pause the video now. This is your first question for Chili 2. And this is your second question for Chili 2. True or false? If you divide any number ending in a 2 or a 7 by 5, you will always get a remainder of 2. So this is a bit of a trial and error. So you want to experiment with numbers ending in 2 or a 7 and divide them by 5. Do you always get a remainder of 2? Pause the video now, Chili 2, for your final question. Chili 3, again, I would like you to look at more than, less than, or equal to. So basically what you would need to do is work out the answers to each of these questions here and decide whether the answers are greater than, less than for each of these questions. So I would use a bus stop method for this, Chili 3. Pause the video now because this is your first question. And Chili 3, this is your second question. So it says write the calculations in the correct column of the table. So here's the table. You might want to draw that table out on your piece of paper. Remainder of 1, remainder of 2, remainder of 3, and remainder of 4. Basically, you have to work out the answers to each of these and then decide whether the answer has a remainder of 1, remainder of 2, or 3, or 4. It says at the bottom, are any columns empty? Talk to your partner about why this has happened. There may be a column that is empty, and I want you to think about why. Without me giving you the answer, think about what you're dividing by. Remember that the remainders are never ever going to be bigger than the number you're dividing by. They're always going to be less than. Pause the video now. This is your final question for Chili 3. And I'm going to share the answers. If you are not ready for the answers, pause the video and rewind it, look at your chilies. I'm going to give you a little bit of time to go and get a pen or a different colour pencil crayon so that you can mark your answers. Again, if you're not ready, just pause the video and rewind me. Chili 1, here are your answers. The answer was 1,312, remainder 2. Pause the video if you would like to look at the individual answers for each box. And here you go, Chili 1, this is your answer for the second question. The answer should have been 2,101, remainder 3. Now remember, if it was a remainder 4 or remainder 5, you know that you've gone wrong somewhere because you're dividing by 4. The remainder always has to be less than what you're dividing by. Chili 2, here are your answers. You can see that in a few of these you have exchanged. And Chili 2, that question was true. Any multiple of 10, 100 or 1000 will be divisible by 5, so additional ones will always be remainders. Chili 3, here are your answers for those questions. And here are the answers here. Now, hopefully you notice that the remainder of 4 box was empty because you're never going to have a remainder of 4 when you're dividing by 4. The remainder is always going to be less. Friday's lesson is complete. Well done. You have worked, all of you, so hard this week. And I really hope that you all have a lovely weekend. And I will see you here again on Monday. Goodbye, Year 5.